Hello, I'm Claire and welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be me selecting 10 fragrances to wear during August for my perfume tray. I'm also going to talk through my most worn fragrances during July from the fragrances I selected a month ago. And I'm just going to update you on what's been happening with me really. So if you've not seen me before, I'm Claire. I make content all about fragrance, but I really love talking about perfume science, perfume history, perfume psychology. And I also just do some straight perfume reviews and also fun perfume tags. So if that kind of thing interests you and you haven't already done so, then please do consider subscribing. And please also press the like button if you do enjoy this kind of content. So, how was July for you? Well, I think I promised in my previous video that I was going to tell you my marks for my master's degree module. And I was so worried I wasn't going to pass. I just felt like I had no clue where I was in that course. Anyway, a pass mark for a master's module in the UK is 50 and I managed to get 68. So that means I got a merit. So merit is 60 and a distinction is 70. So I'm over the moon with that grade. And it now means I'm an associate fellow of the Higher Education Authority, which basically means I fulfilled a probation criteria for my job. July otherwise was just full of doing experiments and lots of paperwork, and I was just really busy again during July, and I'm really looking forward to some time off work during August to recuperate. So July in the UK was pretty hot at times, and I really found myself reaching for fragrances on my tray that were really the most refreshing of the bunch there. And my most worn this month was by far Orange Soleia by Guerlain. So this is from the Aqua Allegoria range. I left this on my desk at work. Every time I came out of the lab, I would spritz some of this on because it just feels so oppressive when you're working in 35 degrees in a lab coat. So this is something that I really did wear quite a lot this month. But yeah, this is just a sort of a slightly green feeling orange citrusy fragrance, but it also does have a sweetness and a creaminess as well in the dry down. So yeah, love this one this month. I also ended up wearing other refreshing fragrances quite a bit, and another one I have to mention is Hermes Le Jardin de Monsieur. This is just a really green, sappy feeling, watery feeling fragrance. And this is again something that I just wore because it was just so hot at times. The other fragrance I ended up wearing a lot this month was one from Banana Republic, and that was Monday Rose. So I was gifted this one by So Avant Garde. But I just find this one just such an easy reach. Whenever I don't know what to wear, when the weather's not crazily hot, this was what I wore during July. So yeah, those are my three most worn during July, but the winner by far was Orange Soleia by Guerlain. So for August, I really want fragrances to reflect a holiday vibe. I want some really nice refreshing fragrances, some fruity fragrances, some sort of tropical feeling fragrances. And I also want to add a fragrance sample just like I did last month because I really feel that adds something to my perfume tray. So the first fragrance is sadly discontinued, but it's just something I don't tend to reach for very often. And I just want to remind myself of this fragrance and really to get wear out of it at the perfect time of year for this fragrance. So this one is Guerlain's Aqua Allegoria, and it's the Coconut Fizz, which I think was absolutely loved when it was on the market, but yeah, it's hard to find now. This one I really haven't used very much of, and I don't really know why. I think it's maybe because it's not a very fresh feeling fragrance, but it's really something you tend to reach for more in the summer, I guess is how I'd kind of categorise it. And maybe I should try this one in the winter, maybe it'd be completely different again. So this one to me is a little bit beachy. It's almost like you're wearing sun cream and you've been for a swim, your skin is slightly salty, and you're just reclining on your beach towel on a nice hot sandy beach. And it's the smell of your skin drying with the sun cream on the beach. This is a very distinctive combination of something fresh, something slightly salty, and also something creamy. So this is coconut, but it's coconut water, and that's really what makes this distinctive. It's slightly green feeling as well, but it's also got this really lovely creaminess from the sandalwood and the vanilla, and it's just overall got this sort of beach vibe to it. And I just really want to put this one on my tray this month and get some more wear out of this one because I feel like I've really neglected this over the many years that I've had it. So that's Coconut Fizz by Aqua Allegoria range from Guerlain. So this next fragrance really could have gone into my easy reach fragrances video. It's something I find incredibly wearable pretty much year round, but I really think it shines brightest in the summer. So this one's called Cadrene, and it's by a small indie perfumer brand called Oriyii. So it has spearmint, but it's also quite sweet. So it's kind of got an almost hard toffee feel to it. And there's also some cardamom, which really brings a coolness along with the spearmint, and also some ginger. And the ginger is quite delicate, and there's also a fluffiness in the back of the fragrance, which I think must be the jasmine. But the jasmine is just sort of a general kind of, a fluffiness, I guess. Can't really describe it in any other way. So this one, I just love the combination of the freshness with the sweetness. Really long lasting and just really easygoing. So that's Cadrene by Oriyii. So the next fragrance was one that was a gift from a friend, and those fragrances are always that much more special, aren't they? They always make you think of that friend, and they just always enhance the smell of the fragrance. They always make you love that fragrance a little bit more, I think. So this fragrance is from a little clone brand in the UK called Pocket Scents, and this is called Iles Vierge. So this refers to Creed's Virgin Island water, so it's really duping that fragrance. But I actually prefer this one to the Creed. That's probably not the right thing to say. This one I just think is delicious. It's creamy, it's coconutty, but it's also got this freshness from lime, and it's also got a sugariness. The lime is not sharp in any way, but it's just got this really limey feel, and I've been searching for a really good lime fragrance, and this one last year was totally it. I wore this a lot during the summer last year, and I think this fragrance, it just smells like a lime pina colada to me. It's delicious. So yeah, I know there's loads of dupes for the Creed Virgin Island water out there. I know that people love that Simone Andreoli one. I've never tried that. I would love to try it. But if that one is as good as this fragrance, I can see totally why people love it. Really, I don't think Pocket Scents are that expensive at all, but I just really like this one. So that's Iles Vierge by Pocket Scents. Next up is a fragrance that's been on my tray quite a bit this year, and it's going back on. I just have to have this one on my tray in August. I think this is now the time that this fragrance should be worn and enjoyed to the max. But I really want to try this in the winter as well. I think this really could work in the dead of winter too. So this one is Memo Marfa. So this is a tuberose fragrance, but it's also got a green freshness to it. It's got a watery freshness. So the orange blossom is very prominent and really well done in this fragrance, and I think that's really what I love about it. Also, this fragrance has a kind of coconutty feel in the dry down, and I think that's really why I want to put it on my tray this month. So the sandalwood, the vanilla, and also just the greenness, I think, combine and give you that feeling of coconut in the dry down. Love this one, talked about it loads, and just really happy to have it on my tray again this month. So that's Memo Marfa. So the next fragrance is one that I ended up wearing in July, even though it wasn't on my tray. And I think that's because it complements Orange Soleia really nicely. And when Orange Soleia was fading when I got home from work, I would just spritz this one on in the evening and enjoy it. So this one is Oud Yuzu, and it's from the Forte range of the Aqua Allegoria range from Guerlain. This fragrance I think is a hard sell to a lot of people because it's a citrusy, woody fragrance. And the citrus here starts off like a gentle neroli, and then it turns into a softer citrus as it dries down. I like the woodiness here. I would never ever pick it out as oud. It's something that's incredibly gentle, but it does have a slight smokiness to it. It's almost like a white glowing charcoal to me when I smell this. But yeah, I wouldn't ever describe this fragrance as overtly smoky. I just find this one really refreshing in a kind of dry climate kind of way. I think this is the perfect fragrance for like a Mediterranean evening. That's really what this fragrance sort of makes me think of. So yes, that's Guerlain's Oud Yuzu from the Aqua Allegoria range. So the next fragrance is called Côte Vermeille, and I've been sent a sample by the brand owner, and I'm putting it on my tray this month because I just want to try it out more. So the brand owner is called Karen Timson. I own one of her fragrances already. I own Moon Palace. And Karen was kind enough to invite me to the launch of this fragrance, and I was really sad not to be able to go. I was sadly busy. But yeah, I was really excited to try this one. So it's called Côte Vermeille, and Côte Vermeille is an area of France. So it's around the south of France, and it's the area that sort of links with Spain. Been to the Côte Vermeille, it's beautiful there. And this fragrance is really inspired by the Art Nouveau period. So it's inspired by the art of Charles Rennie Mackintosh and his interiors. And if you don't know, he was a really renowned Art Nouveau designer. He designed some really striking interiors for quite a few places around the UK and also in the south of France. And this fragrance is really channeling that kind of time period. I'm really impressed by how this one takes me to maybe not the 20s, but it definitely takes me to the idea of something like an Agatha Christie, like Poirot series or something like that. It really makes me think of those kinds of series. So I always think with vintage fragrances, truly vintage fragrances, they can sometimes smell a bit funky. There can sometimes be some dirty musks. They can sometimes be really indolic. This isn't dirty and it isn't indolic. This is really quite a clean feeling fragrance. So there's white musk here, which is what keeps it clean. And I would say the florals are spicy rather than indolic. So this to me is a spicy red rose fragrance. And there's also some carnation here. And that's what I think is bringing that spicy feeling, but also a powderiness. Carnation is so unusual in fragrances nowadays. And actually, it's taken me a while to love carnation. But I think about the fragrances I have with carnation. And do you know what? I don't think I really knew how carnation smelt before I got into fragrance. I didn't understand that carnations actually had a smell. You know, if you go into a supermarket, in the UK at least, you get up to them and they just smell a bit sort of like petally. They just smell cool and just like nothing really. Whereas I've sort of been told that carnations are really spicy and that's how they smell in fragrance. So it's that spicy, powdery feel, and this has a really nice warm woodiness to it as well. And actually as this dries down, it becomes more golden. It becomes almost a sun-kissed kind of fragrance, but with an amped up kind of warm woodiness. But the white musk keeps it clean throughout, and it just overall is a very floral, deep, rich, powdery fragrance. I'm really looking forward to having this on my tray this month. I think this is something very, very distinctive. And I don't think this is going to be for everyone for sure. But I think if you really like carnation, if you really like powdery fragrances, if you really like drier roses and richer fragrances, so I really feel the ylang ylang in the dry down. There's this golden feel in the dry down. I'm assuming it's that, and maybe the amber. But yeah, I just think it's a really striking, really long lasting, quite strong fragrance, but not overpowering. So that's Côte Vermeille by Karen Timson. So because I've got Côte Vermeille on my tray, I'm going to put Moon Palace on there as well, because I will just think of Moon Palace every time I pick up Côte Vermeille, and I will want to wear it anyway. So Moon Palace by Karen Timson as well will be on my tray for August. So this is a raw, untamed kind of tropical floral fragrance. It always makes me think of a greenhouse, and a really full to the brim kind of greenhouse with lots and lots of tropical florals in it. That's kind of almost like the florals have flowered to the point at which they're slightly dying back now. And it's that hot, humid air that you get in that kind of greenhouse. And also the green palm leaves in that greenhouse. There's tuberose, and there's also a slightly green, almost banana leaf-like ylang ylang. And as this dries down, it's just dark, it's musky, it's resinous. This is just really well done. It's a really grown-up feeling tropical floral. So yeah, I love this one, Moon Palace. So the next fragrance I'm putting on my tray, because I feel like I've had it for a long time and I don't feel like I've got my full wear out of this. I really feel like I need to wear it a lot more, because I've had it ages and I've really hardly even got a dent in this. So this is Eau Croisière 2020. So yeah, you can see the level, it's right up here. And I feel like I've worn this quite a bit, but clearly I haven't worn this quite a bit. Anyway, so this fragrance, I really feel like it's changed, and that's made me worry, because to me now it smells quite brown sugary and also quite syrupy. It's like a cross between a kind of caramelised mango and pineapple, probably more along the lines of the pineapple than the mango. But I think this is meant to be fig, but I've never really got fig from this. But actually there's also something a little bit boozy to this as well. It's a really rich, fruity, syrupy feeling fragrance. This one is really long lasting, and I think this is something that I will reach for more when I'm off work than when I'm at work. I think this one just feels quite casual and quite laid back. So yeah, Eau Croisière 2020 by Mugler. So the next fragrance is going on my tray because I was doing some gardening in July, and I just looked around my garden and I thought, this is just this fragrance in a garden, and it made me really want to wear this fragrance. So I'm putting it on my tray in August. So I'm going to put some pictures up. So In my garden I have this trellis and there's jasmine and honeysuckle growing over the trellis. And then I also have this apricot tree, which has really produced so many apricots this year. I've really been inundated. And really those three things combined are exactly this fragrance. So this is Jasmin Des Anges by Dior. So this is literally a honeyed jasmine fragrance with a fruitiness, an apricot-y fruitiness. And then it dries down into this really kind of mysterious muskiness, a light musky fragrance. But really it's the jasmine that's the strongest thing here. But yeah, it's just sweet, honey, delicious, airy, light, and just very spring summer for me. This is my favourite fragrance from the Christian Dior range. I know everyone loves Gris Dior, and perhaps, you know, if I have my critical head on, I would say Gris Dior is much the better kind of thought out fragrance and the better structured fragrance, but my heart just says Jasmin Des Anges. I just really love this fragrance. So that's Jasmin Des Anges by Christian Dior. So the final fragrance is the ultimate hot weather fragrance for me, and this one is Balenciaga's Florabotanica. So I haven't had this one on my tray this summer yet, and I really feel like I've missed out. I feel like I've missed the boat. I'm worried now that the weather's going to turn and I'm not going to want to wear this in August. I'm really hoping for some kind of heat wave to come again. So Balenciaga's Florabotanica is just the most distinctive, really something that you wouldn't smell on the designer market now, I don't think. It's a really fresh feeling, green, herbal, slightly spiced kind of fragrance with some carnation. There's also some aldehydes here and this really nice fresh pink rose as well. Light and watery. And yeah, it just feels like a wet kind of garden fragrance. I guess that's why it's so refreshing. The dry down is slightly woody, but it's those aldehydes that make it so distinctive with that kind of liquid soap feel to the fragrance overall, along with all the other things that are going on. The mintiness really makes this stand out as well. Love this one, and yeah, just the ultimate hot weather fragrance for me, really long lasting. So that's Balenciaga's Florabotanica. So that's the final fragrance in this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, then please do press the like button, and please also consider subscribing if you haven't done already. And please let me know what you've been wearing during July, what you're planning to wear during August, what's on your tray, and also what are you doing during August. Are you going away on holiday? Please let me know down below, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.